everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. The game I'm going to show you today is called Last Starfleet, and this is a game that is in Kickstarter right now, or should be very, very shortly. Last Starfleet is a co-op game about the end of the Earth. Basically, due to whatever horrible apocalypse or calamity, the Earth has exploded, and there are these remnants of humanity out in spaceships. And right before Earth, or Krypton, if you will, exploded, and this is like set in the year 4040 or something, but they sent out a last blast communication that reaches these ships in interstellar space, saying that they need to find a habitable planet, and they need to group together so that the human race can continue forward and find a new home. So, kind of a grim storyline, if you will, if you think about it too long. That is what this game is all about. And so, what happens is that each player plays a ship, the captain of a ship with a lot of human beings on it, and they are there with other ships, 2 to 4 people, or up to 6 if you have the expansion. And you work together to try to populate the planet. And because this is an undiscovered, though habitable planet, it isn't really excited about you being there. And so it actually fights against you. And then your goal, and this is kind of almost I don't want to say bad, but I mean, it's like, so it's kind of arrogant, if you will. It's like, we can't be destroyed. We want to land on your planet and take you over. Well, we don't want you here. That's too bad. We're the humans. We're gonna do it. But regardless, that's your goal. You need to populate the planet and win, or else humanity is doomed. So I'm going to show you how to play the game. And then, as I always do, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you exactly what I think of it. Alright, cool. Let's show you how to play Last Starfleet. Alright, this is the game board for Last Starfleet right there, and I've gone ahead and set up a 4-player game. This is a cooperative game, as I said, and it plays 2 to 4 people, and with the expansion you can get that up to 6. Each person will have a ship, a captain, and a big deck of cards that they will be going through as they play the game. This is a card-driven cooperative game. As I said in the introduction, the whole purpose of this is the Earth has exploded, and there are these last remnants of the human race looking for a planet that they can then take the humans that are on their ships, and they can then inhabit the planet so the human race can continue on. The planet is going to be separated into different quadrants. That just lets you know, like when certain things happen in the game, like when they say place, land humans in space X. You'll know where you're placing them. Also, there are the atmosphere of the planet that has the 4 spots as well, and you can see it says Dock 1, Dock 2, Dock 3, Dock 4. As events happen and things like that, because of the planet is like basically kind of fighting you, maybe it doesn't want to be habitated or something, you will like have things that'll take up those spaces. There also will reference your cards that you have will reference docking as well, and they can also dock in the atmosphere locations, and they will also reference docking to your ship. And if you dock onto your ship, you just go ahead and put it underneath your starting little tableau there, if you will. Just quickly showing you, like here, I'll just show you these guys over here. Like here's your ship, and it just says the HMS Providence, and like the people tokens. I don't leave them on the cards. I don't know why, but you can see I just have the people tokens off to the side of each one of the starting ships. And so there's a picture of that, and then you get a little picture of your captain here. We're packed and tight, hang in there, not long now, we'll be planetside. So it just kind of gives you a picture of the dude and a little flavor text. I like it when there's flavor text in the games, and these cards all have like flavor text and tell a little story. And then importantly, it tells you the specifications, so it kind of gives you an idea what this is. Huge colony ship, capable of quickly landing large numbers and reinforcing itself from orbit. So the whole this is like kind of like your milk cow, if you will. This is if you're running this ship, it kind of tells you a little bit of what your strategy is going to be. Your job is going to be getting people off your ship and onto the planet, because that's how you win the game. You specify if you want to play easy or medium or hard, and there's a certain number that you have to get onto the planet. And you can see the starting people in this one is 90. So that is your goal. You have 90. This is the 90 people. They come in 1, 5s, and 10s. These markers will also be used for all sorts of other things as well, for hit points of certain things that you have to destroy and stuff like that. Just for a difference, we have the SS transformation down here. You can see the captain states, Catastrophe breeds opportunity with a little desalinization, a tectonic destabilization. This is one opportunity I mean to seize. So maybe he's like kind of more of a businessman or whatever, so maybe they're going to be like a support thing. So yeah, support ship blocks and destroys atmosphere cards and protects the colonies. So then you can see it has a starting of 50 people, and these little icons here are just so you can tell which card goes with which, and you can kind of sense that. So you can see like each person will have a role in something that they're supposed to be doing. And I always like games that have roles for the people when they play. Not to say that they're pigeonholed and that's the only thing they can do, but they are able to, they have something that they're really good at. So there you go. I mean, and I think for a co-op game, that's something that you should have. You should have specialties, so you're not just like everybody's the same thing kind of situation going on. So, that's the base of like each person. You start with 3 cards in your hand, and then that's your starting hand. And then as you play, you'll play a card, and you draw a card, and so on and so forth. But I'll get more into the gameplay here in just a second. I haven't completed setting up. With this copy that I got, and this is a prototype, of course, I got 2 planets, and I understand there are more and all kinds of other things they could be doing, but this is what I have in front of me. So we had the Leviathan and the Red Giant. So you have to pick which planet you want to play against, to try to populate. So the Leviathan is a huge water world, teeming with all manner of life, and the Red Giant, an enormous arid planet that shows violent seismic and weather readings. And so it says size large. My understanding is that so this is the only board I have, and this is the large planet. That the planet is smaller, like you'll have a smaller board. This is what I have, and it actually specifies the ship that works really well against the planet. So in this case, the HMS Providence works really well against Leviathan, and in this case, the Nemesis is the transformation for the Red Giant. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Leviathan planet, and so you have this Leviathan planet card. This is the deck that the planet will use to attack us, basically. And so you also have what this is called an orbit card deck, the Perils of the Void. And so what then you do is you shuffle these 2 decks together to kind of form the action deck that the planet gets to use to attack us. And so you actually, like, there's a spot for putting the planet deck here, and the planet discards there. I'll move this a little bit so we can get it in there. And I'm going to shuffle these, but you will barely notice it due to the magic of video editing. And there we go. I'm done shuffling, and we'll go ahead and place that deck there. And as long as everybody has their 3 cards in their hand and everybody's set up, we are good to go. So you just figure out who's going to be the first player. Oh, I forgot one thing. You have to actually pick what level of difficulty you want to pick. Medium is 100, easy is 85, and difficult is 125. That's how many people you have to get onto the planet. So I'm more. I tried playing it at the hardest level. I have yet to beat it in that. I was able to beat it on easy after a couple of plays, and so then I moved up to the medium level, if you will. And I've only won once at that level, and I've lost more than I care to admit. So so you pick whatever level you're going to be. Obviously, if it's the first game, I would suggest playing it at the medium level or at the easy level. So you have to get 85 5 humans onto the planet. But there you go. So each turn is considered a cycle. And you just proceed, you do this until the game is over. Now, the way you lose the game is really easy. Basically, every ship has to completely lose all of the people that are on it, and you don't have enough people on the planet. If you get enough people on the planet, you win. If you run out of people, you're not out of the game. You are considered to ghost at that point. And so when you ghost, you turn over your card here, and it says, may move all people on the surface to a space to an adjacent space. When players land people, add plus number of players people. So in this case, it'd be 4 players. So you have an ability that you can still use after you have run out of your people that are on your ship. It's basically the idea that everybody, like, you've left your ship. Every single person that's on your ship has either been killed or have gone to the planet. And so the ship is just kind of running itself. There's this AI, and it's still able to help out a little bit. There are cards and abilities that will allow you to unghost a ship, and get some people back on the ship that can run it. And in which case, then, if that happens, you get to redraw cards and then play them as normal. All right, so to start off, as a planet turn, you draw the number of cards depending on the number of players. With 2 players, you draw 2 cards. With 3 or 4 players, you draw 3, and with 5 and 6, even though I haven't played with 5 and 6, with the expansion, you would draw 4 cards. So you draw the cards and then resolve them in order. So one at a time. So like we'll draw this first Leviathan card, and we'll see what here it says. Grand Leviathan. Okay, and this little symbol up here means we're docking this to an atmosphere. There's a little cloud there and a little arrow. Dock to atmosphere 2. Player plus 3 organic damage to all ships. Now we don't do that immediately because we have to wait and actually get to the atmosphere portion of the turn, which will be really quickly after we get these cards out. But I just want to say, so it shows what kind of damage it does. Organic. That's important because sometimes you'll be able to equip your ships or places and stuff with different armor. And if the armor matches, you can deduct the damage from it. So we dock this to atmosphere 2, so this will do 7. 4 players plus 3 organic damage to all ships, and you can see it has 15 hit points. And so if you attack this, then you can destroy it. So it's like a fairy tale, the sea monster that rises from the depths, but this one is rising all the way to space, bent on destruction. So there's this grand Leviathan creature that is attacking the ships. So we find atmosphere number 2, and there we go, atmosphere number 2, and we'll go ahead and put the grand Leviathan in that spot. We'll turn over the next card of the 3. This one says Madness. All players discard until they have a max of 2 cards in hand. Okay, well, I haven't drawn cards for everybody, but in this case, everybody has to discard a card and put it away. So then that's a discard, because you can see there's this little symbol up here. That's just like a one-time shot, and also it tells you to discard here. But that's what the symbol means. And you go ahead and put that there. And then we'll draw a 3rd card, and we'll see life support down, 5 organic damage to all ships, and then discard. And of course, all of these have little flavor text too, and you can read those out. And I'm a real big fan of having everybody read out the flavor text to just add something to the game, especially in a game like this because it's story driven. But anyway, so it does 5 organic damage. When you take organic damage, you just literally take the people, or any damage for that matter, I should say. Your hit points are the people that are on your ship, and so each player would have to discard 5 in this case when you turn that over. Since that is a instant and then a discard, we take that action immediately. And then what we're going to do is, now, after we've done what the planet is going to do, we would do the atmosphere turn. Now, then you take and you look at all the atmospheres and everything that's on there, and then you do each one, and you process these actions. These are like a constant effect, and until you destroy them. And so everybody's going to be affected. This is players plus 3 organic damage to all ships. In this case, they're going to take 7 more damage. So we haven't even really been playing. We haven't even been able to take an action yet. And each one of these locations, let's just go ahead and 10, take back 3. Each one of these ships has already lost 12 people. And that's not good. And did I mention this game can be brutal? I don't think I have yet. But this game can be very brutal, and which is something that I really enjoy about co-op games. So there we go. Just so Green doesn't cheat and pull some of those back in there. So once you've done all the atmosphere, now whoever the first player is, you either play a card from your hand, or you can add one person to your ship. If you don't want to play any of your cards, you can just take one person and just add a ship. I guess, I don't know, you have a baby or something, or you clone somebody. And then you draw a card from your deck, and that is your entire turn. Now, I'm just going to show you like some of the cards that you can have. So, like, let's say this is my hand, because remember we had to discard one. And so here we have, these are discard cards because they have the little thing over there. But it says, land 4 people on a surface space. Discard. You know, you can do that as an action. Or, actually, both, wow, I shuffled these and this, we got them both the same card. Let me get a different card here, hold on. Here you go. So these are my 3, because I'm cheating a little bit here. Maybe we didn't discard last time. But anyway, so, here we have Tectonic Realignment, 10 structural damage to an atmosphere card, 5 structural damage to your ship, and then you discard it. So, if I wanted to do damage to this thing, and I was willing to lose 5 people to do it, I could take this card, I could say, okay, I'm playing this, bam, well, actually, not there, sorry, you know, put it off in your discard like so, you would lose 5 people, but you could go ahead and add 10 damage to that particular atmosphere. And theoretically, somebody else could then say, okay, I can do the other 5 damage on my turn or whatever. And this is, because it is a cooperative game, this is a complete discussion. I have a card that does this, I have a card that does that. This isn't one of those things where you have to keep your hands secret and hope everybody figures out what you're going to do. You're not going to win this game unless everybody's working together and saying, okay, you know, timing wise, I can do this and you can do that, and so on and so forth. So after you've done that, then you draw another card because you've done your turn, and then, you know, we got a Gravity Well. You know, okay, and this is important because these are ones you do in your turn, and these are reactions. Reaction: discard and take 5 structural damage to discard a planet card before it takes effect. So the next turn, what you could do is, like, if somebody draws a planet card that does, like, is going to really harm you. Let's see what the next planet card is. It's off easy. So planet dock to atmosphere 1, player plus 3 organic damage to ship with fewest people. So that's going to happen. You know, that's technically, you know, that would be 7 damage. So you could just say, you know what, bam, that's not going to happen, and you could react with this card and play it, and you know, just discard that one before it happens if you wanted to. So, you know, that is... Oh, and I should mention that it says, like, a planet card. Even though this is a planet card and this is technically an orbit card, they're considered planet cards as well. So you can actually, you know, prevent those from happening as well. So, you know, you do your turn. There is no hand size or hand limit. You can have your entire deck in your hand if you never play a card, but, you know, that would never happen. But then the game just continues. So then, you know, they'll go, and you just keep doing that. And this is just like any other, like a lot of cooperative games. It's one of those, like, slow climb difficulty games. You start off, even though this one started off pretty brutal, you start off and things are going okay, we're kind of taking care of this, and pretty soon there's too much going on, and you have to start actually putting your resources in the right place to take care of the right things, and you have to, like, you know, the old like, break the eggs to make the omelet, if you will. And you gotta, like, okay, fine, that's not gonna work, we're gonna have to let that one go, we're gonna have to focus on this, and so forth. And what happens a lot of time is, like, you'll have people in these specific locations, and what happens is, like, you'll have like atmospheres that the planet cards that'll just be blowing the hell out of those spots, and you need to figure out how to get people out of there as well and get them into the other locations. And sometimes you just have to give up on humans, you know, and you know, to, like, you save the planet, you have to, like, you know, practice a little constructive judiciary triage, if you will. You know, so, and then I just wanted to make sure, like, I found, like, there's those things that attack things as well. I like playing the green card as well. This is the Interpol Vengeance, and it's like this is the gunship. Focuses on dealing lots of structural damage to the atmosphere cards. Hardly any people, barely ever is used technically for that. So I kind of like playing that. Luckily I have friends that like, you know, being the other roles or whatever. But they're not all bad. Like the paratroopers, add 2 people to all occupied surface spaces, things like that. But this is one that they are all about 5 structural damage to any card, and then discard. And you can get like really cool combinations. Like, remember that card that he was using to discard the card? It said, take structural damage or whatever. Well, you can actually take 5 structural damage to your ship to discard that card. Well, if you had an armor card that actually had 5 structural armor, you'd say, okay, I'm gonna play this. It can't hurt me at all, but I can get rid of it. And so like you have like the interplay of those cards that are work really well. Let me find. I apologize. I'm going to find them. Like, here we go. Like, they have like booster cards as well. So this symbol up here means you're docking it to your ship, and so it's like dock to your ship. Your blasters cards deal +4 damage. Remember, this is the one that's using your to destroy the atmosphere cards. So now you can do +4 damage, and so it's like all kinds of like cool little things like that. And it's like you build yourself up. And as you learn the different ships, you learn their play, you learn the cards that are involved, and it really starts to flow. And like I said, it tells a story. Each person has a role, each person has a goal, and it makes a lot of fun. And like even like the gadget things these are pirates basically. And I mean that's a really cool thing. Like they actually say like we got to save the captain, this illustrious beauty here. We just got to save the human race, then we can get right back to stealing from it. And so there's even a cool little group like that, and then like they're like the jack of all trades over there, and they're kind of that I like that group as well. I like playing them as well. So, all right, well, you should have a really good idea of how the game plays. I didn't want to show you a bunch of cards or anything because this is one of those games that's it's fun to explore it and fun to find the cards and read the text and everything like that. I highly encourage you, if you have any questions or want to look into it, go to the web address for the game or check out the board game entry at Board Game Geek. But let me tell you exactly what I think about Last Starfleet. All right, Last Starfleet. You should have a really good idea of how to play the game, as I said. So this is a co-op game, and it's one of those things where, if you ever notice that, like, when people, and I'm not saying everybody, but like if you are watching this video, it's because you are a fan, most likely anyway, of designer board games, or like basically our niche board games, not like the Milton Bradley Parker Brothers type stuff, and by and large, it seems like when I meet somebody who's just gotten into the hobby, they're always saying, yeah, I played this game, it was cooperative, we worked together and the game played against us, and the idea of that is just kind of like out there, and I admit it was for me as well. If you followed my my rantings here over the last 5, 6, 7 years or whatever, you should well know that Arkham Horror was the game that got me into the hobby. I mean, and the idea that the game played against you is just so like crazy. I couldn't believe it. So I kind of outplayed cooperative games to me to a certain, because unfortunately a lot of them are just kind of the same thing, and they don't have a lot of any they don't have anything that makes me like feel like I'm connected to the theme or connected to the process, and like you have to have something there that makes me want to one, tell somebody about the game, and 2, want to play it again. And so like a game I recently reviewed for a Kickstarter for TMG, like Bomb Squad. I really enjoyed the heck out of that. Why? Because it was like timed, and it was very tense, and it was like you actually felt like you were, I mean, not really running a robot and saving people, but it was one of those things where you had to really rely on the people around you instead of just kind of taking care of your little spot and then hoping everybody else takes care of their spot as well. It's why I like games like, and then like Eldritch Horror, which, by itself, it really isn't all that to it. I mean, but because of the theme and because of the dark comedy and the gallows humor that's included, and plus the fact that we love, the game can like destroy you and the world ends and you still enjoy yourself. I mean, stuff like that makes me really like it. So I'm always excited to play new cooperative games, but I'm always like, I hope it's good. And thankfully, Last Starfleet is pretty awesome. So, thank you for getting through that whole intro to this conclusion. But Last Starfleet is pretty awesome for a lot of things. Well, first of all, if you've watched my reviews of cooperative games, there is the Undead Viking 3 rules that a cooperative game has to do before I, will accept it into my fold of accepted cooperative games. And it has to beat me the first time I play. If I sit down and play the game and I, without knowing anything about it, without knowing any of the strategy, without knowing anything, and it beats me, then I'm impressed by it. Because it should be difficult for me to beat the game, sight unseen, first time out. Secondly, it should, and I understand this, in this, I always say this, there is a caveat to this, depending on the gaming group, it shouldn't lend itself to one person running the show. It shouldn't be one of those situations where one person says, okay, on your turn you do this, on your turn you do this, I'll do this, and then you do this, and let's see what happens. You should remove the general aspect, not general like game, but like the military office of being a general. Remove that captainy guy or girl and allow each person to shine at their specific thing. And you do that in a lot of ways, but the best way to do it is have each person be really good at a single role, but also keep some of their information that they have to themselves, and allow them those moments of time, allow them those strategic choices to figure out, okay, this turn I think it'd be best if I did this and then held onto this card and waited for something tougher to show up, because this is a pretty powerful card and I don't think right now is the best time to do it. And this game does that. Last Starfleet does that. It allows each person, they are except for the pirate is kind of a jack of all trades, as I said, but they're also one of the greatest utility. It's well, I can't land people as well as everybody else, but I can still help out in a pinch, stuff like that. And it allows each person a time to shine, and I really enjoy that about the game. And finally, as I've always said, if I sit down and play a 4-player game and everybody at the table is just as good at the game as me and we are playing head to head, I should win 1 out of 4 times. Just everything being equal, I should win 1 out of 4 times. And saying that, a co-op game, no matter how good I get at it, it should still beat me 1 out of 4 times. Even if it's just because it's that difficult or whatever. And if I have to ramp up the difficulty artificially by going one of the difficulty levels, fine. But after I get really good at the game, after I understand the cards and I understand the concept, I should be able to get the difficulty to a certain point where it's still beating me and it's still a challenge, and I should only win 25% of the time. And Last Starfleet blows all 3 of those things out of the water. It is tough, it is brutal, and it tells a story when I play. And that's what I want from a cooperative game. I want to be able to sit down and enjoy my friends, and we think about what's going on. We act out what's going on. I see the planet in my head. I see those things happen. I see the sea monster come out of the water and is so tall, it's munching on my starships that are above. I want to be able to visualize that, live it, experience it, and beat it. And then so when I'm done playing the game, I feel like I've accomplished something. And that's when you start high-fiving people, and I love that aspect. I love, actually feeling we kicked this game's butt. And especially, I go back to the first time I ever beat Arkham Horror, which is around the 9th or 10th time we played. We finally beat it. And I mean, literally, we were oh my gosh, we beat the game. And we beat this game on easy about, I think it was the 4th time we played, and then we graduated to the medium level, and then we had to play another 5 times before we actually were able to beat it. And then that was a success story for us, and it really made us happy. So if you're a fan of co-op games, I think this is something you definitely want to check out, especially if you're a fan of sci-fi themes. If you like card-driven games, and and this has no dice, and so there's luck to it depending on which cards you get in your hand and what cards come up. But I mean, as far as like being able to present you strategic choices and strategic options, I think this game should be right up your alley for to add it to your game shelf. So there you go. If you have any questions about Last Starfleet, please ask away. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. As always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And until the next one, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.